get with this, cause this is where it's at. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. I think you'll get with this, cause this is where it's at. You can get with this.
Welcome everyone to This Is It. I'm here and we're ready to talk about the finale of She-Hulk. And I can't do it with nobody else but the people that have been riding with me this whole time. It's the crew. What's going on, Hollywood?
Not much, man. I'm glad to be here because I got some thoughts, because I was riding with She-Hulk. I've been promoting She-Hulk, especially on this show, defending it against the hate of all haters up there, up top. And I don't know. We good. Right. I'm glad to be here though, man. Shout out to Corey Warrior. I'm sure you're gonna drop some knowledge on us.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna see how this goes. But last but not least, before we really get into this, what's up, Phenom?
Phenom 202 DD representative. Y'all remember we took English and we learned like compound words like backyard, background.
Is that a compound word? Oh, yeah, two different words
put together.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Is dumpster juice one word or two words?
Oh, man, yo.
Is it? I mean, is it like a compound word or is it two words?
I know.
Whatever it is.
I might have to bring it back because back in the day, how I used to do beep, beep, beep.
Yeah. Ollie driving the truck and I'm hanging off the back right now, yo.
Oh, man, that's. So I kind of know where you guys are feeling about this episode, and it seems like this episode definitely stirred you guys' thoughts on what you felt about this series as a whole. I was fine with this episode. I mean, I could definitely understand why people had issues with it if they're not used to this type of material, and we'll go ahead and get into it. So it's not really a whole lot to talk about, but I will touch on a couple of things. So the first thing that I'll touch on, did you guys notice the intro this series was reflective of the Incredible Hulk from 1977, 1978? I did like that. What about you guys?
No, I loved it. Only shout out to Lou Ferrigno. I can't talk.
Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, he got the steroids in him. Fucked him up for a second. But I don't even know if the steroids did it. I was when he was on the steroid hype. But yeah, that was really the only thing they could do to make it better, yo. If he would have came out like with wig going up and like, yo, this shit fire.
Yo, I like the beginning, yo. And guess what? I ran away from the TV just like I did when I was 3 years old when the Hulk came on TV. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was good. I loved it. Loved that part. I ain't gonna front. That drew me into the episode so good. I was like, yo, paying homage.
Yeah,
to the old one, and then had the really bulky She-Hulk.
Yeah. That's like, but that's how it used to be. Like, they ain't look nothing alike. David Banner and Lou Ferrigno. What's David? I can't think of David Banner.
Bill Bixby was David Banner.
Yeah. That's the name. It was Bill Bixby up there.
Yeah, I loved it. Just like you guys, when it first came on, I got excited. I was like, oh my gosh, no, they're not doing it. And that was clearly paying homage to the 1977, 1978 year that the Incredible Hulk show came out. I mean, with Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno, it was a hit. I loved it. I thought it was great because they were pretty much going almost frame for frame with the original intro. Yeah, which was pretty dope. Yeah. So after they do that intro, then it really gets right into the show. So it begins right where it ended. Jen is now in prison, and the DA is willing to do a plea deal with her as long as she wears an inhibitor collar. That inhibitor collar, I think, is definitely going to come into, and I'll explain later on what I think that's definitely going to come into effect down the line. She's been fired from her job. Now she's moved in with her parents. And this is when Jen is really starting to dig into her heels to find out who set her up at the gala. And she's just not really feeling it. And the first person that she reaches out to out of all of this going on is her man, Emil Blonsky. Is like, you know what? I'm going to hit up Emil Blonsky. I want to stay at his ranch for a couple of days to kind of get myself in a better headspace to figure out exactly what's going on and what's my next move. That's where, that's where I'm going to stop it right there for now. What are you guys all thoughts about this beginning intro with them putting on the inhibitor collar, Jen having this deal, moving back on her parents, she's been fired, and now her reaching out to Emil Blonsky going out to the ranch?
Well, go ahead, you get on it.
I mean, she woke up in the same place, Blonsky was, it's Abomination. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then we already predicted last week she was going to lose her job. You know what I'm saying? But what I didn't like this. I didn't like how they didn't show how she got captured. She just woke up in the jail cell. I'm like, all right, whatever. And then, the comedy kicked in, lose her job. Nikki stays at the thing because they pay her good. She moves in with
shout out to Nikki. She told the truth. She told the truth. Like, I'm gonna ride with you in spirit.
Yeah, in spirit.
But she did more than spirit. You gotta give a little more.
No. I mean, she's still there working. But yeah. She's like, I'm gonna stay here for this check.
And moving in with her parents. It's like the sitcom stuff, like Mom, Exercise Room. Just disrespecting the grown ass person who's down in their luck. The life don't stop. You know what I'm saying? Mom got chores. Dad waters his grass in California during a drought. They threw that little joke in there.
Yeah.
I was okay up to this point.
Yeah. Okay. So what about you, Ali? Is anything going on in the series right now that you're like, okay, I'm not feeling this, or pretty much everything right here is you copacetic with?
Honestly, no, I wasn't feeling this at all, because I was like, why did they got her in a maximum security prison for breaking up some TV sets? She held up the dude. They was like, stop, and she stopped. Like, I didn't understand it. I was like, why is she in jail? Like,
I did think that too.
I was like, I can understand them like losing her job,
scared,
but I know, but like I said, I can understand them losing her job. I mean, her losing her job and all that, like the backlash or whatever. Like She-Hulk, whatever. But for real, what did she do to end up in jail? Like, yes, they would took her to jail that night. But
you make a point. I mean, because this is maximum security prison. This is like the stuff that they put the superheroes in that have been really bad.
Abomination was just in there. He wrecked the whole. He wrecked the whole city. Whatever.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, you got her for breaking 3 TVs. Like after they sold her sex tape and holding up the dude, chasing the dude, they did holding him up, and they was like trap him, and she looked around. Like, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, she's in the maximum security jail and talking about, the plea deal for you to get out. Gotta put the inhibitor on you. Like, oh no, what? What's all right? You know what I'm saying? I understand. Give me a little bid with a little parolee type shit. What it was?
Put the ankle bracelet
like
on.
6 months, a year.
No, they said it was for life.
For life. That's what.
That part, I was like, for real? For life?
I was like, yo, this is...
Yeah.
I didn't understand... Like, I was thrown off from that, And from that, honestly, I was like, yo, this shit is kind of whack.
You make good points. I mean, I can't disagree with some of the points you're making. I think because I know a little bit more of the lore of the comics on how it gets to this point. Because the whole idea with the inhibitor collar it's all from the X-Men comic book series. So in the X-Men comic book series, the inhibitor collar becomes a main focal point where they just start grabbing mutants off the street without really knowing if they're bad or good. It's just because they got powers.
That's in the movie.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they haven't really introduced this in the Marvel universe yet, because as far as we know right now in the MCU, superheroes is all good.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is that this is their way of kind of sprinkling little Easter eggs on how they make rash decisions with the inhibitor collar, regardless of what's going on. Just because you're a superhero and do something small or big, you automatically get an inhibitor collar. So I think they're going to use that moving forward with some of the mutants and when they start introducing the X-Men. So that's why they were so brash with it. But you make a good point. It does seem kind of foolish that she is getting it over breaking a couple of TV sets, but that same foolishness is the same foolishness they use on the mutants in the comics. So that's why it kind of was okay for me in a little bit.
Well, I didn't feel like, see, the thing about it is I don't feel like Ollie in this point, only because the lawyer who came and talked to her, she's like, yo, let's go get these people. She's like, nah, but we got to get you all first.
Yeah.
And like, she's like, well, they ruined my life. You got to go get them. Like, yes, but you can control the Hulk.
Yeah.
Which made people angry, and that's why they put on the inhibitor collar. So that made sense to me.
Yeah.
Extreme,
Same.
Yes. For life, yes. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, same here. And going on her friend, I can't remember her friend's name. That's the paralegal we were just talking about.
Nikki.
Nikki. So we can go a little segue. So Nikki then gets a video of Jen dance with her college friends from her mom back in college, and she winds up putting that out on the internet in hopes that we can find out who are these people that set up Jen at the gala, and eventually we want to get a ping from Hulk King saying, hey, I appreciate this video. Yo, I feel the same way about She-Hulk. Come out to this event that I have. Of course, he thinks that Nikki is a he, so she runs and gets Pug to go to the event in order to go in there. And lo and behold, once Pug gets into the event and start acting like he hates She-Hulk, we find out that the Hulk King is actually my man Todd, which that was kind of expected. I mean, who wouldn't have figured that one out? Then Todd recognizes Pug. Pug recognizes Todd. They have a whole big group thing. And then eventually, I want to stop right before it get kind of crazy, because this is when it goes to a whole nother angle in the show. But in this little part right here, did you guys have any suspicions or always thought from the get-go that Todd was Hulk King?
I didn't.
You didn't? Okay.
I didn't at all. I wasn't mad at the surprise. I was like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? I did like the Pug Nikki element, like her feeding him stuff and you know him feeding into that. Yeah. But like it was still kind of like.
Yeah, this is when it starts to go a little, and I can understand why people didn't like this, because, and Ali, I don't know if you have a comment about that. Did you think that Hulk King was Todd?
Honestly, I didn't. But when it showed when they showed him, though, it wasn't like, oh, like it wasn't like super. It wasn't shocking. Yeah. And I mean, I was indifferent on all this. Honestly, I mean, like I said, I like the little interaction between Pug and Nikki or what have you.
Yeah, me too. Love them.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't nothing like extreme or nothing like that had me feeling away, good or bad. Right. It's just like, this is regular TV.
So let's get into like the nuts and bolts and the grit of this episode, because it starts right here. This is where it all starts, where things just start happening a lot. So first thing that starts is Abomination walks in. So now Emil Blonsky is the guest speaker at this event against She-Hulk ralliers.
Yes, and I was still in. I was like, yeah, this is good. I mean,
you were still there.
He needs, he like I said, dude said I paid him well. He need money to support his 8 wives. He got 8 wives, a motherfucking whole camp. I'm still in. That. I'm just my bad. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm still in. Go ahead.
Okay. So then also what happens at this is when Jen is at the ranch now. So she's like, you know what? I've got to go see where Emil is at. That's when the guy's like, oh yeah, he's having a thing out at the shed that we were hanging out. So then Jen walks in. Then Jen walks in and sees all these folks and all this stuff going on. And then Todd sees Jen, and all of a sudden Todd starts monologuing. The infamous monologuing where he's telling everything about everything and how he got the serum, how he got her blood, and how he's creating it. And then Todd shoots himself up and becomes his own version of the Hulk. Then right at that moment,
it was corny. It was corny, but I was still in. Like, it's just like, yeah, it's TV. It's corny, but it's TV. I'm still in. Go ahead.
Okay. Then at this moment, not only does that happen, then all of a sudden, Tatiana breaks through the wall, shows up, ready to do her thing. And then my man Bruce shows up and breaks through the wall and starts doing his thing. And this is when it breaks the fourth wall, and Jen like, time out, hold up, cut. So we can kind of stop right there. We can keep going into the whole thing. What you guys want to do? Because we can talk about this whole, because this is one big thing.
But honestly, like after when Hulk showed up and Tatiana, I was like, yo, this is like ridiculous. But then when she stopped it, she was like, nah, this is like timeout, like whatever, this is like silly. I was still in. I'm still in, yo. I'm still in. Like, all right, I understand. Like, maybe we don't rewind and do something back, but like I was so good with that. I was like, all right, you know what I mean? Just to be something silly. Be like, all right, nah, this not what really happened. Like whatever. I was still in. It's She-Hulk.
Man, I just thought it was super convenient that she was at Abomination's ranch and they was having a Unite the Right rally at his ranch too. You know what I'm saying? So I was already checked out. I was like, for real, like he's gonna have these guys, these bros here, and then she happens to be there, and then sees like the plot just was too convenient. Like even with the serum, I'm like, okay, that's fine. It's just, to me, I was like, I set my alarm, I got dressed, waiting for my man to pick me up with the dumpster truck. He said he was on his way. And I was waiting outside for Ollie. I'm like, man, this shit is trash, yo. Like, and Ollie finally pulled up when she said that time out.
I ain't pulled up yet, yeah. I might have been called in late to work right now. I was like, I'm about to call in to work. Because I was still in.
At this part for me, I was still okay with it. Actually, I was okay with the whole episode because I know about She-Hulk. So I thought it was still all good. Even though I did think when Bruce showed up, I was like, okay, what just happened? Like Bruce was literally in space just a couple episodes ago, and now he just showed up. So that did throw me off. But of course, in the next scenes, the She-Hulk explains all of that, and I loved all that, but it doesn't seem like you guys really love that. But let me backtrack just a little bit.
I was gonna say, I was like, all right, I meant to say this at the beginning of the episode. This was gonna turn into a chorus saying, I read She-Hulk, so I understand. But I already knew it was gonna be if you're not familiar with She-Hulk, I already knew it was gonna turn into that.
That's very true. And I thought about you guys when I watched this because I was like, the average viewer is not going to, it's going to be 50-50. Like 50% of the average viewer is going to be like, I don't get it. And the other 50% is going to be like, all right, it's all right. But for myself, because I know how it was in the comics, I was like, okay, I can rock with it because it's just like it was in the comics. I mean, I can't explain it.
But no, I mean, so she breaks the fourth wall.
I mean, but I'm not mad at that.
I'm not mad at that. But I'm mad at when she breaks the fourth wall and then where it transitions to after that.
It's one thing to break the fourth wall. She just wanted to a whole nother and this is not multiverse bullshit, but go ahead.
Well, let's get into that. So, and I'll explain why I was okay with it, because in the previous episode we talked about how I said how she was. Like you could go through the whole story, and then I told y'all it'd be like the last page, like, and all of a sudden she'll start doing her own little thing and like talking about the story that just happened. So that's why it didn't affect me as much. But look, let's go into it. So then, basically, this is right when she's like, time out. So after basically, then she decides that basically you see a Disney Plus screen, and all of a sudden she's like, I got to figure out what's going on. And she breaks the fourth wall. And I'm looking at like she's on my TV and she's breaking through. Next thing you know, she's in the writer's room and she's telling the writers, physically telling the writers, like, who wrote this? Like, why are we doing the same thing that we normally do? Why is everybody showing up? XYZ. Then they're like, well, this is what Kevin wants and this is how it is. And she's like, well, I want to meet Kevin. So then she's going through the studios, going through everywhere to meet Kevin, which we all are thinking Kevin Feige. So I'm getting kind of excited. Like, oh shit, Kevin Feige is actually going to be in the MCU.
I had to lie, yo. This was, was like, look at his watch, like, this nigga late. And I was like, I jumped. I was like, shit, I'm late. And I was speeding up because I was like, yo, all this is trash. And this was way too inside baseball to me.
I agree.
Okay.
Not even inside baseball, the more Marvel Universe show. I'll let you go ahead. All right.
So yeah, basically in this scene, she meets up with Kevin, who is an interactive enhanced computer that is the quote unquote Kevin Feige that everybody talks about, that is in charge of everything with Marvel, the brains behind the operation. So that's what it is. So she's having a dialogue with Kevin about the tropes of the things that are usually in the MCU, about the big spectacles, all the people showing up at the last minute, the same plot lines and the Flash and the tropes in the climax. And she's like, we need to just scratch all of that because everybody's always talking about us doing the same thing. Why can't we do something different? So, okay, that's pretty much the whole shebang of that whole scene. You guys take it from here, man. What you didn't like, because clearly you didn't like any of this.
Go ahead,
I mean, you're right. Like, he was like, what you like? I didn't like none of it.
Well, I can say, go with what you didn't like, because you didn't like any of it.
This got way into side baseball, like,
yeah.
The only reason I know shit about Kevin Feige, because I'm not like I mean, I watch all the movies and stuff because I just
Right.
listened to a couple of podcasts and they talk about because he's like the overall direction of of all this shit.
Marvel,
Right, right.
But at the same time, if I ain't listen to no podcast, like I wouldn't know who he was or give a fuck who. He was. Honestly, I still don't give a fuck who he is or whatever.
Mm.
To a certain point, just because I just want the movies to be good.
Right.
But I really don't care because I don't give a fuck about. I'm not here to. I'm not here. I'm not showing up for producers. I'm not here showing up for showrunners. I'm not.
Right.
That's not why I'm here. Like, no, you don't need to be on the show, bro. Like, this is some old narcissist. I want to be a. Let me get.
Go ahead, say it, brother.
I mean, he was like some narcissistic shit. Like, let me get my. I mean, not his face, but like I'm about to come on here because I know all the people that are super deep into this is gonna be like, ooh. Fighting's about to show up on screen. Like, guess what? Like, the normal person who isn't into Marvel, I mean, super like that, watch this and be like, who the fuck is Kevin? Like, nobody gives a fuck.
Good point. Good
Like,
point.
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead.
I knew who he was. You know what I'm saying? Because I know he's the brain behind the Marvel pivot. You know what I'm saying? He's been that lately. I was off when she started walking through the studio. I'm like, this is dumb.
Just dumb. Yeah.
She showed up in the writer room. I was like, they was like, yo. Then it got a little bit interesting. Like Kevin, I was like, oh, so Kevin Feige's about to be Stan Lee now. He's gonna show up in there. Maybe
That's what I thought.
Other ones, you know what I'm saying? And then she gets to the room. He makes a joke about, you got to switch off She-Hulk off camera because we don't have the budget to do it. So they was just like making jokes like that, and then her going back and forth like, why all these dudes got daddy issues. She's not going that was all the tropes with Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right. And then she's sitting Indian style on the ground, and she's having this conversation, and she's like, I want to do it this way, I want to do it that way. She's like, what about the X-Men? Like dropping little nuggets like that.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying? It was just, to me, it was just. After the last episode, it was the best episode of She-Hulk so far.
Right.
You got Daredevil. She was fighting. She was mean. And this one, like a precipitous drop. If you know what precipitous means, it means a very, very steep drop.
Yeah.
That's what it was, yo. And the thing about it is, it was so drastic. Like, you can't sit there and be like, it made sense. And then when they got out of this, it was even fucking more horrible. Because she's like, all right, we don't need him. We don't need him. He needs he needs to own what he just did, Abomination.
Right.
You need to get like Homegirl out of here and bring back Daredevil.
Bring back Daredevil, yeah. And then
the only thing that was funny though, she's like, well, you just messed up my story. She's like, Hulk smashed everything. Even Matt Murdock.
Yeah, that was.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was funny. I don't lie, that was funny.
But other than that,
and then when they came back, it was just like they didn't even show none of this shit. It was just like, oh, he's getting arrested, and like that shit was so whack, man.
You can't tell me that ending was like
that shit was trash.
The ending was definitely anticlimactic. It definitely was different than anything that anybody's ever seen. I will not disagree with that. The ending is different. There were some parts.
Well, go ahead.
There were some parts of the ending that. And see, when I mean anticlimactic, I'm talking about like it wasn't a big spectacle with
I'm talking about
lights,
like something like people had never seen. Like I watched Atlanta, yo. I seen some crazy shit, yo. You know what I'm saying? I watched Dirk Gently's holistic detective agency, like the Hitchhiker's the Galaxy shit. I don't know if y'all ever seen that shit.
Yeah.
It was wild. Like it's a BBC show, whatever, all that. Like I watched some crazy shit, yo. I don't mind it being crazy. It's just gotta be good, and this wasn't good. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Corey, you sound like a real politician right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like you won't say it's bad. That's like saying
because I don't feel it.
Well, he says racist things. That doesn't make him a racist. Yo, Corey, was the ending bad? It lacked a certain je ne sais quoi when it came to the end of it. Instead of saying no, it was a bad ending. It was a lackluster ending.
I'm going to be honest with you. I do not think it was a bad ending. But do I think it should have been the ending for the final of this season? No, I don't think so. That's what I was disappointed by. I was disappointed this was the final episode. To me, this was like a regular episode. And they kind of wrapped up some shit at the beginning. They're like, oh, we're done. Mm-hmm. That was what I didn't like. This would have, everything that they were doing in this episode to me was fine, because to me, I'm cool with the fourth wall break. You guys do make a phenomenal point, though. It felt like they were digging at a specific audience instead of the general audience.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people out there that aren't going to get all the jokes, all the stuff that they were talking about, like, what about the X-Men? Get rid of these tropes with these characters. Why does everybody got to show up all the time? They're talking to a specific segment of audience that talks about all that stuff. The general public could care less about seeing bombs in the sky and stuff like that. So I get that. And I can see you guys' point now. You're bringing it up. Like, I was getting excited about it because I'm in that. But I can see how somebody like yourself is not going to get excited about hearing about X-Men, bringing Daredevil back, Hulk being in space. Why is he showing up? Oh, we'll save that for another movie. You know, it's all that's, it's like they were talking to the audience because they knew the audience was going to talk about it later. So I think you guys make a good point that they kind of did go a little too deep in it, but I didn't mind.
But it seemed like they tried to rush everything into the end, like all the stuff coming down the pipe. X-Men, even in the cutscene,
setting up a lot of stuff.
You know what I'm saying? Hulk coming back and being like, "Hey, this is my son."
Well, yeah,
and it just went to another.
Now, I didn't like that. Okay, yes. Okay, so let's talk, because this is all the ending. So let's talk about all the ending. Yeah, now, this is the part that I was talking about. Like, this is what I personally thought that, okay, this is them trying to wrap up stuff for the end of the season. I was like, they didn't need to do that. Like, we didn't need to see Bruce show up at a freaking cookout. We didn't even need that. Yeah. Personally, it was good that I saw it, and then all of a sudden they showing his brother.
It's not a cookout, brother. When it's barbecue.
Oh, what is it? Dinner? A barbecue?
Barbecue.
They eating outside.
Yeah. They eating outside. Okay, yeah. Dinner outside is what they had. So
they had to cook out.
You know, Bruce showed up to dinner outside with his son. You know, Scar from. I didn't know that they didn't need that. They could have saved that for a whole nother series. Now, I got excited about it because I know they're leading us in the Planet Hulk. They're leading us in the World War Hulk. I think that's great, but I get it. It was a little bit too much. And Daredevil being there at the last, blew out the minute. It was great that he was there, but it was kind of rushed. So yeah, there's a lot of things that were kind of rushed, man. And you guys go, but I didn't hate it, but I did think that they tried to cram too much to end in the finale. It should not have been the finale. I don't think.
You can say you hate it sometimes.
I didn't hate it.
I mean, like, Hulk literally showed up with a son, and they're like, "Hey, this is my son Scar," and they went to another scene right after that. No explanation of nothing.
That's bad. No. That's why I said they shouldn't have had it.
No, they didn't explain it. They say your family's wild or some shit. He was like, yeah, that's my family.
All they said.
That's all they said. Wah, 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 wah. And I don't know shit about Hulk's son. So, like, how you was like, yeah, so leading to this. Like, I don't know what's the leading to. I was just like, yo, what's the point? Like,
how long was Hulk gone, yo?
That's another thing too.
But that was from like the Thor Ragnarok and all that shit, right? When he was just out.
Yeah, so in Thor Ragnarok, Hulk was gone for 2 to almost 3 years. But I'm sorry, Hulk was gone almost 2 to 3 years. So Hulk was Hulk on Jakar on Thor Ragnarok for like almost almost 3 years. So in that 2 to almost 3 year time frame where Bruce has no idea what Hulk is doing the do, and he done got a son that he didn't know about. So that's Scar. I mean, this is all from World War Hulk. So they're clearly building a universe around the Hulk now, which I think the reason why they're doing this is because the word on the street is that they're supposed to get the rights finally back for the Incredible Hulk that they haven't had in years. So I think that's why they're doing this, because I think they're trying to set up the movies now that they've never been able to do because they never had the full rights to Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see where they go with that, because I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. Do I want to watch a Hulk and Son movie?
No, it's not a Hulk and that's the thing.
Well, I don't know, but but I don't know what it is. What I'm saying is, like, why we bring his son into, like, you know what I mean? Do I want to see motherfucking what's that bullshit? The worst movie on earth? No, I'm talking about Will Smith and his son.
Oh God!
When they crashed on Mars or some shit.
Like, dude, I want to
Planet Z. What was that? Earth Zero or whatever it was. I don't know what it was.
But either way, yo, I don't know if I want to see Hulk and the Son in the acting and all that. I don't need Hulk. I mean, I know. I understand you got your point, Corey. I'm just Yeah,
Go ahead,
I'm just
brother.
as somebody who's just watching from watching.
Right.
Like, okay, I see him bringing the sun. Like, I don't need to see Hawk. I'm already over Smart Hawk. Like, I'm done with Smart Hawk.
I agree. I am too.
Now I don't need
Yeah.
to see motherfucking Hawk woman dad Hawk out here throwing the let's go play catch and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Give him a son. Now you know you couldn't smash. Like, no, and I'm not even talking about fucking smashing. I'm just talking about you couldn't smash that school up like you did, even though they made you angry. He's like, but Dad, they were making fun of me. Like, I don't want to see none of that shit, yo. Like, I just want to see Hulk. And that's.
Well, I got a question for y'all though.
Yeah.
Y'all think Hulk could carry a movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Regular Hulk.
I think he can.
Real Hulk.
And that's what I think.
Like this iteration of Hulk, because he hasn't been.
Not
right
Smart
now, he's
Hulk.
a mixture of Smart Hulk.
Yeah,
and
not
Real Hulk.
Smart Hulk.
I need to see Hulk's face, like the angry Hulk's face. I don't need to see Bruce Banner's face on Hulk talking physics and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't like how. I mean, I understand Smart Hulk is a thing, but is he Smart Hulk all the time?
No.
So
that's
we have to
why.
see the Hulk.
And I'm going to drop 2 minutes of
go ahead.
jewels on this.
Go ahead.
So the Smart Hulk does not last. The reason why his son is important is because they're trying to bring us back to Hulk, the Hulk that we know and love, where the storyline. That's the whole purpose of Planet Hulk and World War Hulk. The reason why we have World War Hulk is because what happens is that he has a family, he has a wife, he starts to, and they get destroyed by the Illuminati. And he goes on a shit rampage because y'all done killed my family. And he comes out down back to Earth and he wreaks havoc on everybody. And it's the comic book is crazy because he damn near kills it. It's pretty intense. Like he goes ape shit on everybody because he's pissed off. So I think what they're doing here is they're introducing Scar only to possibly set up Bruce going ape shit, because he's probably going to get close to his son and something's going to happen that the Illuminati or somebody's going to do that's going to kill his son and his family, and he's going to go ape shit. And he's going to go back to the Hulk that we know, because that's what happened in World War Hulk. He was on a planet that the Illuminati shipped him to, and he started to raise a family there, and everything was all good. The Illuminati blew up a ship on the planet, and it destroyed everything on the planet, including his family, and he got pissed off, and he went right back down to Earth and started kicking everybody's ass and beating them to death. Even She-Hulk. He practically killed She-Hulk in the movie, in the book.
I mean, they need to get it back to that, yo.
That's what I think they're going to do. That's what I honestly feel that they're going to do, especially once they get the rights back to Incredible Hulk that they've never had. That's why they've never had an Incredible Hulk movie. Mm-hmm. They've never really had one.
So do you think, well, along those lines, do you think Marvel will go that dark?
I think so. I mean, they did it with Logan. I'm sorry.
I mean, Logan is dark, but it's like more realistic.
Wolverine is a dark character. You know what I'm saying?
And Hulk
everybody wanted to see that.
No, I think they need to do that anyway. So. They need to switch. Like they're going. I think they're dependent on it's so swung too far. Like we got enough funny shit. Like now Thor's funny. You got Guardians of the Galaxy.
Thor's not funny. He's trying to be funny.
I'm just saying. You got motherfucking what's the shit coming out now? Wolverine.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, Deadpool is funny. You got it's like this shit. Everybody can't be funny. Like they need something on the dark side. For me, at least me personally. That's why I was like, I don't want every Marvel movie to be jokes.
So the ending of this show is what really did it for you guys. That whole ending, that whole breaking of the fourth wall, and the way it ended with the cookout. Well, the dinner outside and Bruce showing up and.
But I mean, it's not. But I don't want it to come off like I didn't like it because they broke the fourth wall. I didn't like it because I just didn't think it was good. Like I don't mind breaking the fourth wall. I just thought it was like it was just corny how they did it to me. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it was just too deep. I think so. Yeah.
And she didn't get revenge. You know what I'm saying? Like all her friends did all the work. She just happened to show up at the place that her nemesis was. Like it wasn't good, yo. Like the whole story, like after, like I said, episode 8 was so good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? From the humor to the action to the storyline, it was good. The ending of it was great. Then you transition to this shit and you like,
Well, let me ask you: do you think there'll be a season 2?
They kept talking about it. I mean, they kept dropping hints on every fucking thing. But what's the cliffhanger in season 2? But for season 2, there's no cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a season 2, but not because of the show, like the quality of the show, just because either Kevin is on it or Disney Plus has got enough money to make. Yeah. This is like the WNBA, yo.
Marvel's making the money and support.
Marvel's making the money to support the show. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's the WNBA.
WNBA, they lose, like they'll bend them forward, but the NBA just keeps throwing them some cash. They're like, yeah, we got you. Like, you know what I'm saying? We keep it afloat.
Man, come on. Now, it's not like that. I will say this. I do think they're going to have a second season because I said earlier, I think She-Hulk is mostly going, well, I don't want to say mostly. I think it's going to be an avenue of introducing a lot of different things. So it's so many things have been introduced already in this series. I liked it. I will admit, I did think they did a little bit too deep diving, and it probably is going to hurt them. Like you guys, you just weren't feeling it. I dug it, but there were some things I was like, okay, I don't know why they did that. Why did they do that? Why did they do that? Because I could understand. And one of my main things I didn't understand is why Bruce showed up. I don't think it was necessary to have Bruce show up. They could have held on to that for later. They already shipped him off the planet. That's good. We don't need to see Bruce again. So, but other than that, I think overall the series, because I want to end this show, I think overall the series for me still is about a 7.58ish, depending on how I land, depending on what I'm watching. What about you, Phenom?
I gave it a 5, yo.
Whoa.
It was like
for the whole series.
For the whole series, man. I mean, like you gotta look at it. And I go back to what Ollie said earlier, like earlier episodes. He was like, there was no like there was no funny moments in it. And then it started getting some, then it started looking good. I even said that. It started picking up. And then, she didn't even get revenge on the dude that slept with her and took her information. We didn't see him anymore. You know what I'm saying? It was no get back in none of the episodes. I mean, like it felt so rushed. And why can't we do that? We did that with Game of Thrones. Like everybody season 8, like the last season of Game of Thrones, everybody was all built up for it. Everybody ain't like the ending of it. Everybody said they ain't like the ending of it.
Yeah,
that doesn't. But this didn't hit the mark on nothing. They tried to be too cute in this episode instead of really putting a bow on a great episode that just happened.
I can't argue with that. I can see all you guys' points. I really can. I can't really argue against it. I can see. Ali, where does this land for you?
So I have like a 7.5. And I'll say this, like, the series did start off a little rough for me. I think it got funnier to me than Phenom. Like, Phenom came on a little bit after I had came on. Like, I jumped on. I was like, all right, it is what it is. And I thought as the season was progressing, it was really, like, kind of...
It was hitting its stride.
It was hitting its stride. It was figuring out, any first season of a show is always, unless you just got a banger, most mid-tier type shows, like, if they can turn into good shows. It's just a matter of, fleshing out the characters, hitting their stride. Yeah. Like, even in the writer's room, like, working out, like, how, the actors, like, they'll tell you, like, it's more about...
looking at the actors, figuring out who's got the better quips, the lines, and everything. It takes time.
And I thought, as the series was going on, it was getting good. So, like, I still give it a 7.5, but I just didn't like this last episode. I just thought I just didn't like this... Especially after last episode. I mean, I know we get into breaking the fourth wall, but this wasn't even just breaking the fourth wall. This was like coming to a whole nother universe. Like, what's some more time? Because even the last episode, how they ended it, I thought was good. Like, because she was like, oh, you thought this was going to be the end? This should be the end. Like, after she smashed, she's like, hold up. So there's more to go. Like, she's talking, and then getting into the... Like, I think it was hitting its stride. Like, boom, boom, boom. Yeah. And then for this to be the final episode, it's going to... Me personally, I think it's gonna hurt the show some.
I agree.
Because people are starting to like it, and then just to do something so drastic like this is gonna be people something like thrown off. I don't know.
I can agree with you. There are definitely going to be quite a few people it's going to be split, and probably more people than it's split that are going to be like, I didn't like it, I didn't feel it, because the previous episode they had hit their stride, and this goes left. It really does. It does. And my only saving grace for it is because I read the comics, but I can totally see how if someone had not read the comics, how they could look at this episode and be like, what the fuck is going on? Because I clearly see what you guys are talking about. Like it really dug too deep on the jokes and the puns and all that other stuff with a small group of folks like myself that know what all that shit means.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff is going to fly over everybody's head. Like just it really is. So I see what you guys are saying. You make great points. Points.
Yeah, and I'll let you. I'm gonna wrap it. I'll let you wrap it up after this, Corey. But when you said that, it reminded me of something. Like one of my loves, yo. I know I get clowned on all the time is battle rap, yo. Like boom, boom. I'm a battle rap fan.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I tell people, all right, they're like, all right, let me watch the battle. And when you watch a battle, they talk about so much shit that's in battle rap, like
in battle rap,
yes. A punchline is gonna be something that happened to this person in this battle. This, like, unless you've been watching battle rap like for a long time, you're not gonna half the punchlines now. You're not gonna get, and it's like impossible.
Yeah, like the name flips, like stuff about people. Like if you go back and look at other battles,
what group they used to be in, now they in this group, and this, like, you know, it's gonna be a whole bunch of shit. Unless what fight he got into in 2002 or whatever, like, unless you in the battle rap, you're not gonna get it. And it's almost like how this was, like, it, like, unless you just into it, some of the stuff you're not gonna get.
Yeah, no, good point. Yeah, I can't disagree with that at all. But other than that, Phenom 5, me and Ali 7.5. Hey, it is what it is. She-Hulk definitely is coming out with a season 2. I see it introducing a lot more. I do think the people that are acting in this series did a phenomenal job. So everything from Lord, I forgot her name already. Not Madison. Madison. Yeah, Madison. I give her my own series.
Is it with a Y? But not what you think it is.
Not what you think it is. So hopefully we'll see her pop up in some future movie somewhere. And surprise, Wong has grabbed up Abomination, so we know we're going to see him in another movie coming up down the pipe.
And maybe another show. Your boy is like, he was like, I was busy. He's like, doing another show. He was like,
he did say that.
He was like, so I don't know what show's coming up next.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Other than that, everybody, thank you so much for rocking with us on all of these episodes of the She-Hulk series. Please don't forget, if you watch more than 2 of our videos, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and like this video. I'm Corey Roy. That's my man, Hollywood DA. He's on the left. He's on the right. I don't know, but I know he's here with you. You on the left? Oh, so that's my right. That's this way. Oh, you're on the bottom. Okay, he's on the bottom. There we go. I feel like the Brady Bunch. I don't know where people are in this thing. But anyway, that's my man, Hollywood DA. This Phenom 202. And as always, you guys will catch us on the next review. Peace.
Yo, man, this episode, I mean, I'm sitting there thinking about, like, where does this rank?
You can get with this, or you can get with that. I think you'll get with this, because this is where it's at. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. I think you'll get with this, because this is where it's at. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can